everyone. Today we're going to practice taking some measurements that you might commonly incur during the lab. Here I have a setup of a lab that I do with my physics students, involving a pendulum with a mass at the end. Here I have my meter stick and my triple beam balance to make some measurements that are necessary for completing the lab. First thing I'm going to show you how to do is to take a mass using the triple beam balance. So I'm going to take my mass here at the very end of my pendulum, and I'm going to place it on the plate of the triple beam balance. Now, whenever you start off with a measurement, all of your sliders should be as close to the plate as possible. This zeroes out your balance. Then what you're going to do is you're going to move the sliders appropriately in order to try and get a measurement. So I'm going to move my heaviest slider to start getting my measurement. Well, that's a little too much. So now I'm going to move back one. Now I'm going to move the second smallest to try and get some movement of my needle. And if it goes past this midpoint, I know that I've gone too far. So I'm going to move it back one notch. And now I'm going to use the smallest slider to try and get a measurement. Now you can try and nudge this with a pencil so that you're not making the plate move so much. But once you start getting to that midpoint there, and I'll just verify on the other side how close I am. Wow, that's pretty close. I got pretty close without even seeing it. What you're going to do now is you're going to read your triple beam balance, going from the largest measurement back to the smallest measurement. So right here, we've got our measurement. I'm going to start at the largest one. So I start off, I have it on 100 right here. Then I have a 50 right there. Then I have a 4, and it goes a little bit past 4. You'll notice that it's halfway between those two hatch marks, and that's completely okay. We can estimate that as 0.5, or half of the interval. So, using this measurement, go ahead and record what the mass of this bob is, and wait with your answer until I call on you. So what did you obtain as the mass of the bob that I have here on the triple beam balance? Did you get 154.25? That's what I got. If you didn't get that measurement, take another look at what you have down here. As I said before, you can estimate that interval, if it's halfway in between, as being half of it. So my smallest one was halfway between the 2 and the 3 hatch that exists between 4 and 5. Therefore, I estimated that distance as 0.25. Now we're going to practice taking a measurement of length of my string here that I'm using for my pendulum. And to do that, I'm going to use my meter stick. Now you may notice that there are marks on both sides of the meter stick, but here in physics and in chemistry, we're only going to use one side. You'll notice that one side goes from 0 to 40, and the other side goes from 0 to 100. We're going to use the side that goes from 0 to 100 because this measures in centimeters, which is an SI unit and is what we use for scientific practices. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay my measurement tool, whether you have a ruler or a meter stick, on the table. I'm then going to take the length, and of course, depending on what lab you're doing, this may be different, but I'm going to estimate it from here to where my pendulum was. And to do that, I'm going to lay it at the very end, and I'm going to hold it a little bit taut because that's what the mass did to the pendulum whenever I had it hanging. From there, I'm then going to mark off exactly where it was. Now, I'll show you what measurement I got, and you'll read the meter stick and tell me what measurement there is. So whenever I measured the length of this string, I ended up right here, where the tip of my fingernail is. So take a moment, pause, record your measurement, and remember to give me units. That means the whatever we're measuring in. So for example, since I'm going from 0 to 100 on this side of the meter stick, that would be in centimeters. So again, my measurement was right here. Record your answer, and I'll call to see if you have it. So whenever you performed your measurement, did you get 54.2 centimeters? If you didn't, make sure you take another look at the video right before this to make sure that you're appropriately seeing where my fingernail is placed. And remember, since you'll be working in groups, it's always good to have a second pair of eyes go ahead and measure whatever it is that you're measuring. So this was an introduction to measuring for length and for mass. We'll do other types of measurements as we go on throughout the year, such as time, weight, and other things. But for now, this is all we'll need to get our year started off.